The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com. Steppin Out is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
Whether it's the latest museum exhibit, the newest restaurant, or the current hot play,
we appreciate the weekly updates on the arts, music, and entertainment. Let's step out.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tucker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Miss Poppy,
Peg.
It's great to see you. Hello. It's been a while. Mezzo-soprano Aria Mason, co-founder and really production director, too, of Opera Creole. And my goodness, you all will be presenting the world premiere of the earliest known surviving full-length opera by an African-American composer who happened to be born in New Orleans. Can't wait to hear more about that. Yes, welcome, welcome. And Doug MacCash, it's been a while, arts and culture writer for the Times-Picayune, the New Orleans Advocate. And yes, at some point we will talk about Scrum, okay? And Alex Mason
it's what everybody
returns
wants
next,
to know.
Yes. Alex returns next week. Poppy, news from Mid-City.
Well, news from Mid-City. Have you driven down Broad Street lately? It's a challenge. And that is one reason I wanted to remind everybody about our friends at Coffee Science on North Broad. Because Coffee Science is so much more than a coffee.
Right near Tulane, we should say.
Yeah,
Yes.
right there by the courthouse. And it is so much more than a coffee shop, you know. Actually, they have a liquor license. You can have cocktails. They have a great pastry program. They have fabulous outdoor spaces. But, you know, people who love coffee, there you go. This is my favorite picture. This shows you the extremes that people will go to get a cup of coffee at Coffee Science. And you know, that just, those troubles continue. So go see him, because my buddy Tom Oliver, not only is he roasting coffee, not only is he the person who is the brains behind the original Caldi's Venetian cream iced coffee and Bavarian cream, but he also has some of the most extraordinary king cakes that you can imagine. Now, Coffee Science got an outpost when Smoke and Honey opened up, and so they have everything you can get at Smoke and Honey as far as Coffee Science. It's there. But you can also get king cakes by the slice at Smoke and Honey this year. And what we are debuting here on the TV show is this year's new flavor, and that's the strawberry matcha. And it is made with ceremonial grade matcha tea. And so, of course, there's also a Venetian cream king cake. There's a Bavarian cream king cake. But if you are a real king cake lover, put Coffee Science's fantastic king cakes into your rotation this year. And we also now have to ponder, when is a king cake not a king cake? Well, I think it's not a king cake when it's a daiquiri from our friends at Gree. And you know, there's Gree right there on Magazine Street, and next door is Gree to go. And at Gree to go, they are also, but look at that daiquiri, yum. And you can get them by the glass at Gree, but you can also get them by the half gallon for $45, or there's a deal on three half gallons, which is $120. They're selling high dough and Haydel's king cakes there at Gree to Go. But really, Chef Eric Cook's biggest Mardi Gras news is that he, of course, now has St. John in the most primo parade viewing spot on St. Charles Avenue. And so from Friday, February 21st, right through Lundi Gras, Monday, March the 3rd, he is going to be, there's bleachers, so you'll have grandstand seating. For $250, you'll get the full buffet, the full bar, private rooms upstairs with a balcony.
Oh, look how beautiful that is.
I know. And of course, you know, bathrooms, those most important things. But St. John is so much more now that it has moved to St. Charles from Decatur
And that's
Street.
the old Chatenois a long time ago.
Exactly.
Near
And,
Ursa's.
you know, back in the old days, Herb St. used to have grandstands. And that, of course, they're practically next door neighbors. That was about the most fun Mardi Gras thing I ever did. So bravo to Chef Eric Cook for bringing this back. And when we are talking balcony viewing and parades, I wanted to remind everybody the Crew de Vue will be rolling on Saturday, February 16th, kicking off this season. The best balcony viewing party will be at Tujague's restaurant from 6 till 10 p.m. $160, food, drinks, and everything you need right there at Tujague's.
Oh my goodness! Wow! Thank you for all those great ideas.
So
good.
if you get the king cake daiquiri, is there a baby in it?
Maybe it's on the straw.
Most of the king cake cocktails, there's a baby in there.
Oh,
somewhere.
wow, that's a good
There was-
question.
Once
Yeah.
upon a time, remember the one we had where the baby was frozen in the ice cube?
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
did
right.
that here on set one time.
Oh, well. Aria, oh my goodness. Well, this is so exciting because it's really historic. Okay.
Yes.
So tell us about, is it Morgiane?
Morgiane,
Okay.
yes. The opera was written in about 1887 by Edmond Dede, a free man of color, fourth generation free man of color, born here in New Orleans in 1827,
We have a
raised
picture of
here.
him, yes.
Yes, very distinguished looking gentleman. He composed orchestras, art songs, spiritual material, symphonies, as well as operas. And this is one of his later operas. We think that he may have written 4 or 5 operas, but this one was never even published, much less performed.
And Opera Creole, which of course is the organization, the group that you and your mom founded.
Yes.
And now how many years?
Be 15 years this fall.
Congratulations.
Yes.
You're both so beautiful. And it's going to be, it's so exciting because this is Thursday at the Cathedral.
Yes.
So it's a concert version, I'm assuming.
It is a concert
Okay.
version.
Yes.
It's semi-staged. There will be a few costumes, but mostly
LPO.
The LPO will be with us, and we're blessed to
orchestra?
partner with Historic New Orleans Collection and with Opera Lafayette, which is based in Washington, D.C.
And Music Louisiana is what the HNOCNO calls, this annual kind of presentation.
Yes.
But it's also going to be traveling.
Yes.
So tell us about that, too.
Well, I also wanted to mention that the other beautiful thing about this homecoming is that Edmond Dede was baptized at St. Louis Cathedral in 1827 on January 20th. So it's almost the absolute anniversary of his birth and his baptism, and
my
we're bringing
goodness.
him home.
Now we have we have an excerpt actually from the presentation, but set it up for us. What is the premise of this particular opera?
So the opera is actually, it's got a little bit of a exotic flavor. It's
Of the day,
set of its day. It's set in 18th century Persia in the city of Isfahan, and there's a woman named Amin, and she has a daughter, and she had a relationship with the Sultan, but things didn't quite work out, and so she fled because he wanted her to join his network of wives,
Oh, harem,
so
or-
to
yeah,
speak. Yes, and so she fled unbeknownst to him with his daughter, and then he found out about the daughter in another place, spotted her somewhere, and then wanted her to join the harem. complications ensue.
Yes, yes.
Right.
And so we have one of the members of the cast, Taylor J. White, and she is singing a song, "Lord, See My Pain." So who is she? Is she the?
She is a me. She's
she is
a me.
playing
The daughter.
Okay.
Yes.
So before we go any further, yes, it is time to hear Taylor J. White sing "Lord, See My Pain." It's amazing. Now you have quite a cast, and
Yes.
some of the cast will be changing depending upon the different cities that it'll be performing in.
That's correct.
Oh, you've got Mary Elizabeth Williams and Kenneth Kellogg for this week. Is that correct?
Yes, and Mary Elizabeth is well known to local audiences. She appeared here as Tosca some years ago with New Orleans Opera, and she's just a colossal talent, as is Kenneth Kellogg.
Wow.
With the the music being so lush and gorgeous and their voices, I think it's just going to be a spectacular performance.
And this is the best deal in town. It's free
That's
admission,
right.
but I would say get there as early as you can.
Early as you can.
At the cathedral. But what's really neat, also 7:30, of course, is curtain, but 6:30 you could go to the Williams Research Center nearby, and check out an actual preliminary talk, a panel about the opera, and also the woman who wrote this new biography of Edmond Dede and Sally McKee. So I think that's going to be great at 6:30 at the Williams Research Center over on Charters, really almost literally around the corner, but a few blocks, not too far at all. But once again, congratulations, because not only are you a mezzo-soprano yourself, but you and your mom pull all this together. It's just...
She has, my mother has such a vision.
Out of town, so
she's out of town supporting our production to come in New York, and the Folger Shakespeare Library is displaying the actual manuscript that Dede wrote for the duration of this and next month in honor of our production. And, her vision and the wonderful partners that we found in HNOC and Opera Lafayette have really brought this to life.
And once again, where in New York is it being performed?
We're performing it at Jazz and Lincoln Center at Columbus Circle on February 5th.
Aria, that alone would be,
Yes, and then at the Lincoln Theater in D.C. on February 3rd.
Oh, congrats, because I know this has been years in the making.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Couple of small venues.
Yeah, just a few things. All right. Well, Doug, last week we started our conversation about Prospect with Denise Frazier, and we wanted to talk some more and get your view of this Prospect 6 all around town, right?
Right. 50 avant-garde artists showing in venues all across town. It's a great gift to the city of New Orleans. Happens every 3 years, and people ought to take advantage of it. Go see as much of it as you can. Most of the works are in 3 locations. The old Ford assembly plant in Araby, which is a wonderful thing to see anyway. One of these old industrial sites that, Rust Belt site.
Right
is
along
perfect.
the river, huh?
Right along the river, perfect for showing this sort of art. The other one is the Contemporary Art Center, and across the street, the Ogden. If you go to those 3 places, you'll see 90% of Prospect. This is the age of conceptualism, where the idea behind artwork is as important as the appearance of the artwork, maybe more so. And so what you're going to do at Prospect is you're going to behold riddles. How do you interpret? How do you decode these artworks? That's what conceptual art is about, and that's what Prospect 6 pieces are. They're Rubik's cubes.
You're kicking off with your first one?
Yeah, and here's some favorites of mine.
Yeah.
The Mexico Falcon by California artist Rafa Esparza is a, thank you very much, is the Millennial Falcon from Star Wars, rendered in terracotta with the Aztec calendar superimposed on top. And it's wonderful for all of us who've mused over the years about ancient civilizations and whether they were inspired by space aliens and like that. It's a marvelous piece, about 10 feet wide. Wow. Jeanette Ehlers over at the Contemporary Arts Center.
We'll show that.
We'll be there in a second. Is a Danish artist of African descent, and she has papered an entire room with gold foil blankets. And in the center hangs a huge globe covered with the sort of artificial hair used to produce afro wigs. It spins slowly like a globe. And Eller's concept has to do with the afro hairstyle as a 1960s symbol of resistance, seen in this beautiful, though hostile environment, because those gold, the gold sheets on the wall are emergency blankets. They're related to, hostility, to a hostile environment. The third of my favorites is I think my favorite piece in all of Prospect, and it's called Stories from the Neighborhood, The Great Exposition, by a Barbados artist named Ewan Atkinson. And the great exposition is like going to a history museum, and you enter a gallery and you see an exhibit of posters and board games, record albums, and souvenirs from a World's Fair style event that never really happened. It's all made up. The collection of images and objects touches on racial themes, on explicit queer erotica, quasi-science, Tower of Babel architecture, and faux anthropology. It's got it all. It's got it all. Wow. And it has there's an underlying humor to it, but just outside of your grasp. You know, you just can't quite put your finger on it, which makes it wonderful. Which makes it a wonderful experience. The Ogden curator, Bradley Sumrall, called it a mockumentary that you go see, which of course relates to our World's Fair.
Yeah.
And there is still room in the world for just big, luscious paintings like this. This is How to Make Drinkable Water Out of Air by Shreveport artist Brooke Pickett, and I just love it. It's just this big, delicious, crazy thing made with colors that oughtn't be together and images that don't make a lot of sense. And my question is that thing hovering in the foreground, is that a king cake? We're not.
Or a donut.
Or king cake donut.
Right.
Maybe it's king
We're
cake
not
donut.
100% sure. But anyway, get out and see Prospect before it's gone on February 2nd. It won't be back for 3 more years.
Right, right. It's hard to believe every 3 years. You definitely go to the website, prospect6.org, and there is a map. You have to look for it, but there is a map. And also, my understanding is at Merchant House, they have Prospect merchandise and also maps there too.
Well, there you go. And there's
So,
scattered locations around town. I've been to 3 of them. The smaller venues.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, now it is time for our picks, Poppy.
Okay, King Cake and Conversation, where you can eat it all right here at WYES, January 25th. That's a Saturday, 1 till 3. Tickets $30 in advance, $40 at the door. Here's the current lineup: Adrian's Bakery, Breads on Oak, Brennan's, Coluta's, Kaywood and Randazzo's, Celtica, Gracious Bakery, La Vie en Rose, Maurice's French Pastries, Tartine, Rouse's, and Bricotta's King Cake Gelato, King Cake Coffee, Old Time King Cake Syrup, and King Cake Cotton Candy from Elmer's Chewies.
All right. And lots of talk, too.
And
We
lots
should
of
say
talk
Arthur
with you
Hardy and me and Errol Laborde and Diane Otteray and Daryl Montana and lots of great people. Okay. Anyway, Ms. Aria, so once again, Opera Creole. Oh, congratulations on your award. We have a photo. We wanted to show the New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund. And this is in the entertainment category. I thought that was so dear, so well deserved.
I was very touched, and it was a beautiful ceremony, and honored to represent our community.
Absolutely. And also, anyone who's is interested in Opera Creole, your website.
operacreole.org.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And Doug, Scrim, where's Scrim these days, sir?
Scrim is in Mid-City. Scrim is back to his old stomping ground. 25-year career in journalism, and it has come to this. This is New Orleans' famous feral dog that I have been writing about for months, and I got to hold Scrim during his brief capture.
What a cutie. Thank you. And now my picks. What if Juliet of Romeo and Juliet fame had lived? The Sanger presents a roadshow of the hit Broadway musical filled with hits by Britney Spears, the Backstreet Boys, Kelly Clarkson, Celine Dion, Katy Perry, and more. Folks in the audience were having a lot of fun. That's through Sunday at the Sanger. 2 free talks, one concerning a history of the German coast, the other on Galvez and his Revolutionary War soldiers kick off the German Coast American 250 celebration, and that's at the St. Charles Parish East Regional Library in Destrehan. For more information, 812-9530. For more info, sponsored by the German Coast DAR. Also, later on Saturday at 4:30, the Lacombe Art Guild will have an exhibit. Look how beautiful that is in their atrium gallery. We see Fig Harvest by Karen Dumas Lang and Emerson on the Pond, look at that, by John Carambat, up through February the 27th. And renowned New Orleans-born jazz musician and composer Terence Blanchard will perform his A Tale of God's Will, a Requiem for Katrina, with the LPO at the Orpheum Saturday evening. LPOmusic.com for tickets. And now we leave you with another performance by wonderful Taylor J. White. Oh my goodness. And she is going to be singing The Bond Was Going to Charm My Life, once again, from this amazing musical opera, Morgiane. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Programming on WYES is made possible in part by Susie and Pierre G. Villery.
From Masterpiece to Nova, Antiques Roadshow to Agatha Christie.
And of course, Steppin Out and Informed Sources.
We are pleased to support public television.
It's been our passion.
For a lifetime.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area. The Chicory House Bistro at the Rink offers breakfast and lunch daily. And now a new bar upstairs inside the Garden District Bookshop, 2727 Britannia Street at Washington Avenue. Learn more at therinknola.com.